All right. Happy New Year, IOBA. My name is TC. So, going into a new year, quick reintroduction of myself and what I'm about. I am a, what am I? Am I a baby boomer? Yeah, I guess I'm at the end of the baby boomer generation. And I am pro black, leftist in my politics, just so y'all know up front. And I've been doing this probably since I had a couple of channels, but this one about 2 years old. And I was thinking today, right, that I actually graduated from high school in 1975, so 50 years ago. 50. And the thing that amazes me most about having graduated that long ago and all the stuff I saw since is how people haven't really changed all that much since the 1970s. Check that. And it's crazy to me how shit just keep repeating itself. History just keeps repeating itself, right? So I I got, I guess, radicalized. I don't want to use the term radicalized because I don't consider myself no radical, but I got interested in black empowerment back then because the drill team I was in, the group I was in, was about uplift of black people. It was we were celebrating Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, and the Black Panther Party and stuff like that. That's what we were celebrating. I was young, but I was smart and I knew what was going on. I mean, back then, when you was 14, 15, you knew what you had knowledge yourself if you was from my neighborhood. I mean, Fred Hampton and some of the people around him were very young. Fred Hampton himself was 21 years old. 21 when they shot him. Imagine he'd be an old man, but he'd probably still be alive today. So that's what I'm saying all that to say that right now you hear a lot of, brothers on YouTube, Rumble, other sites going at each other neck and going to war with each other and quote unquote debunking each other and all of that bullshit. That's the same stuff that was going on back then. Now, as long as the black empowerment movement is all disjointed and shit like it is, and people are fighting and coming at each other and cussing each other out on the internet and having all of this infighting going on, then white folks and white supremacy as a system ain't really got shit to worry about from us because we too busy fighting each other. And that shit been going on since way back when. As long as that's that Willie Lynch bullshit. People forget about Willie Lynch. Now, I don't know if there really was a Willie Lynch letter. I believe it was. I don't know if it really was, but I believe it was. There was. It just was a divide and conquer strategy. And as long as you can keep black people divided, playing one group against the next, then you got them under control. And that's just how it is right now. You got Dr. Umar Johnson, you got Tariq Nasheed, you got Professor Black Truth, you got these guys been around 10, 15 years, some of them. You got new guys coming up, you got Afro Think Tank, you got Neferkari Dessalines, you got a bunch of guys. And then you got guys at my level with, just under 1,000 subscribers, and we trying to, make our presence felt on the internet and get some guy and talk some sense into some of these influencers, because we've been around, we've seen it all before. And all that infighting does is keep you divided, keep you at the bottom. If you don't get along with somebody, or you don't agree with somebody, then you just don't fuck with that person. But you don't get in the front of the whole internet and start telling people all kind of disparaging shit about the person that's fighting the same fight you're fighting. You don't get on the internet and say all kind of disparaging shit about a person who's fighting the same fight that you fighting. They might be coming at it from a different angle. They might have a totally different approach. But they fighting the same fight you fighting. It's all in the struggle. And the war has to be waged from a lot of different angles. So there's room out there for everybody to get their opinions out there, because a lot of the information that's being put out there is true and good. Some of it's bullshit. Some of it I don't agree with. But I have been able to, as I have all my adult life, been able to use what I could use and discard the rest. If somebody say something I don't agree with, some black pro-black activist says something I don't agree with, I don't get on the internet and try to make that person look stupid or call them names or some shit like that. To me, that's the wrong way to go about this. That's definitely the wrong way to go about this. Coming into 2025, and after having been in the battle for 50 years, I come from when I was 17. 50 years. That's when I first started working at the Cornhill Action Center. I was the artist in residence. I used to put artwork up inside the building and beautify it and stuff. It was a cool little gig. But anyway, I also used to head up youth groups, and then I started my drill team. And I've been doing that shit ever since. But I've been fighting the fight for that long. Really longer than that, if you count my 14 and 15 and 16 at the Institute of Black Awareness, where I got my foundational black knowledge from. But people doing the same shit now that they was doing then. You got a group that want to take it head on, and a group that's by any means necessary. And then you got these people that want to compromise and wait and talk nice and them kind of people. The people who they thought Martin Luther King act, the non-violent people who want to do passive protesting. But then you got the warrior class. And they're always clashing. And now you got the internet, so they beefing on the internet. And then you got the hustlers, and you got the grifters, and you got all of them black people too in the mix, making it just that much harder for we as black people to unify, making it damn near impossible for us to unify. But I'm going to tell you something. After watching it for 50 years, the only way that black people are going to make any progress is when we stop openly fighting each other and focus our efforts on who the real enemy is. Now, I can tell you this too, we were better off and had more rights and were stronger as a people in 1975 than we are now. Just telling you. We were stronger, more self-aware, smarter in 1975 than we are now. After 50 years, we're still at the bottom of the social and economic ladder, though. But back then, we just took a lot less bullshit because we unified. We unified because we had to. We're coming into the Trump era, you know. Ain't nobody giving nobody shit. The only thing you're going to get is a whole lot of grief from white people who think that they've been given a mandate to quote unquote purify this country. You seen what they did to Robert Brooks up in upstate New York. That shit's going on right now as we speak. Some brother in some prison somewhere getting beat to death. It just ain't talked about. The police still shooting people down in the street, black people down in the street, still walking around with tattoos on their arm, talking about what kind of, nigger killers they is. It's not being talked about. What is being talked about is the fact that they got Jay-Z and they got Puffy in prison, and they're trying to get Jay-Z in prison. They're trying to lock up 2 more rich black men, or they're at least trying to destroy their legacy. I don't know if they're going to get Jay-Z, though, but they definitely trying. And if they don't get him, it'll just be someone else, because they fighting a different kind of war than we are. We fighting each other, and everybody else is fighting us. It's crazy. Going into 2025, going into the Trump administration, we black people who get on here and talk shit have to turn our energies in the direction they're supposed to be turned in, not at each other. I don't give a fuck if you don't agree with somebody, just leave them alone. Don't even talk about that person. If you don't agree, if you think somebody got a different approach, well, that's fine. Let them do their thing and you do your thing. And like I said, fight the fight from different angles and different approaches. Because that's the only way we're going to survive the next 4 years and come out of it looking like anything, with our head up, instead of being flat on our back at the end of the Trump administration. With that, I'm going to close. Y'all keep your head up. Thanks for coming by and listening to me talk my shit. Hit the subscribe button on your way out. Hit the like button if you dig what I'm saying. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.